In a city full of tall buildings and fast cars, there was a small alley. It was a forgotten place, a shortcut people took without looking up. The buildings leaned in, casting long, dark shadows for most of the day. The sounds of the city, sirens, horns, and distant music, echoed between the brick walls. But in this alley, there was one wall that was different. It was smooth and grey, a blank canvas, waiting for something to happen. It had no windows, no doors, just a long stretch of concrete that seemed to hold its breath, waiting for a story to begin. It was the kind of wall you passed every day without ever really seeing it, a silent part of the city's busy heart. People rushed by this wall every single morning. They hurried to work, to school, to catch a bus. Their heads were down, their minds filled with lists of things to do and places to be. The grey wall was just background noise, a piece of the scenery that blended in with the pavement and the sky. No one ever stopped to look at it. No one thought about its emptiness. It was just there like a silent, overlooked friend. It saw the tired faces of people coming home late at night and the hopeful faces of those starting a new day. The wall held the quiet secrets of the city, the unheard sighs and the unspoken wishes of everyone who passed. One morning, a man named Arthur walked through the alley. He was not rushing. He walked slowly, his heart feeling as heavy and grey as the wall itself. The city felt lonely to him that day. Everyone seemed to be in their own world, behind their own invisible walls. He looked at the big empty space on the concrete and saw a reflection of his own feelings. It was a space that felt cold and forgotten, a place where no warmth could get in. He stopped for a moment, the sounds of the city fading away. He felt a small pull, a need to do something, anything, to break through the quiet and the greyness that surrounded him and everyone else. Arthur reached into his bag and pulled out a small, colorful marker. He thought for a moment, his hand hovering over the cold surface. What could one person do? What could one small word change? He decided it didn't have to be a big thing. It could be just a whisper. He wrote a few simple words on the wall, his handwriting a little shaky. "You are not alone," he wrote. The bright blue letters stood out against the grey. It was a small message, a tiny drop of color in a sea of concrete. He looked at it, took a deep breath, and then walked away, leaving his small act of kindness behind to face the world all on its own. Later that afternoon, a young woman named Maya was walking home. Her day had been long and difficult. She felt like she was carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders. As she turned into the alley, her eyes caught the splash of blue. She stopped and read the words, "You are not alone." For a moment, she just stood there, letting the message sink in. It felt like the wall was speaking directly to her. A small smile touched her lips, the first real smile she had felt all day. The words were a tiny light in her own personal darkness. She felt a little bit lighter, a little less burdened by her worries. Maya felt so moved that she wanted to add to the feeling. She wanted to pass it on. She found a pen in her purse, and right below Arthur's message, she drew a small, simple sun with rays spreading out. Next to it, she wrote, "You are someone's sunshine." Her drawing wasn't perfect, and her writing was a little crooked, but it was honest. It was her way of saying thank you to the first message and adding her own voice to the wall. She felt a connection to the stranger who had written the first note, a silent friendship formed through a shared hope. The wall was no longer just a blank space, it was becoming a conversation. The next day, more messages appeared, like flowers blooming after a long winter. Someone had drawn a chain of paper dolls holding hands with the words, "We are all in this together." A child had scribbled a colorful rainbow and simply wrote, "Be happy." Each new message was a response to the ones before it. The wall was waking up, transforming from a dull, forgotten surface into a vibrant tapestry of human connection. People who used to rush through the alley now slowed down. They stopped to read the notes, to look at the drawings, and to feel the warmth that was growing there. The wall began to change the rhythm of the alley. It was no longer a place to hurry through, but a destination. Strangers would stand side by side reading the messages together. Sometimes they would smile at each other, a silent acknowledgement of their shared experience. A nurse on her way home from a long shift added, "Thank you for being brave today." A student stressed about exams wrote, "It's okay to rest." The wall was becoming a living thing, a whisper of humanity growing louder with each new voice, each simple act of kindness left for others to find. As days turned into weeks, the wall became a beautiful, chaotic masterpiece. Every inch of the grey concrete was covered in messages of hope, encouragement, and love. There were notes written in elegant script and others in hurried scrawls. There were detailed drawings of hearts and stars and simple stick figures holding hands. One message, left by someone who worked at a local soup kitchen, read, "If you are hungry, come to the corner of Elm and Pine. We have a warm meal for you." It was a message of practical help, a bridge built from words to action, showing how kindness could feed not just the soul, but the body too. The wall became a landmark in the city. People started calling it the Kindness Wall. News reporters came to take pictures, and stories about it appeared online and in the local paper. It was famous not for being a grand piece of art, but for being a genuine expression of the community's heart. The city officials, seeing how much it meant to everyone, decided to protect it. They put a clear protective coating over the wall to shield the messages from the rain and wind. The wall was now officially a part of the city, a testament to the power of small good things. It was a place where everyone's voice mattered. One evening, Arthur returned to the alley. He stood at the entrance, his heart pounding in his chest. He could not believe what he was seeing. The wall was alive with color and light. It pulsed with the energy of hundreds of different people. He walked slowly along its length, reading the messages. He saw the note from the nurse, the drawing from the child, and the offer of a warm meal. Tears filled his eyes as he realized what had happened. His small, quiet whisper had been heard. It had been answered by a chorus of voices, each one adding its own note to a beautiful song of kindness. He felt a hand on his shoulder and turned to see an elderly woman smiling at him. "It's wonderful, isn't it?" she said softly. "I come here every day. It reminds me that there is still so much good in the world." Arthur could only nod, his throat tight with emotion. He had felt so alone that day he wrote his first message. But now, standing in front of this wall, surrounded by the words of strangers, he felt more connected than ever before. He was part of something much bigger than himself, a web of kindness that he had unknowingly helped to weave together. The story of the Kindness Wall did not stay within the city limits. It traveled on the wind, carried by news articles and social media posts. People in other towns and even other countries heard about it. They saw the pictures of the colorful wall and felt inspired. Soon, new kindness walls began to appear in other forgotten places. A school in a small town started one on a playground fence. An office building in a bustling metropolis dedicated a hallway to it. Each wall was unique, reflecting the heart of its own community, but they all shared the same simple idea. These new walls became spaces for people to share their own hopes and fears. In one city, a wall helped neighbors connect after a big storm, with people offering help and sharing resources. In another, a wall outside a hospital became a place for families to leave messages of support for their loved ones inside. The simple idea that started in a lonely alley had become a global movement. A network of whispers reminding people everywhere that they were not alone. It showed that kindness was a universal language, one that everyone could speak and understand, no matter where they were from. The original Kindness Wall continued to be a source of strength for its city. It was a quiet refuge, a place to go when the world felt too loud or too heavy. It reminded everyone that small actions matter. A single word of encouragement could change someone's day. A simple drawing could make a stranger smile. The wall taught the community that kindness isn't always about grand gestures. It is often found in the small everyday moments. A note, a smile, a helping hand. It is a ripple that starts with one person and spreads outward, touching countless others in ways we may never even see. And so the grey wall that once stood silent and forgotten became a powerful symbol. It showed that kindness can start anywhere, with anyone. It can begin with a single person feeling a little bit lonely and a single simple act. That one act can grow, building connections and weaving people together until a whole community feels a little warmer, a little brighter, and a little less alone. The wall was a whisper of humanity that became a song, reminding us all that even the smallest drop of kindness can make the whole world a better place to be.